In this video, I'm going to talk about 8 things I hate about love triangles, especially in YA and new adult fiction. Hi, I'm Nia Ager. I am an actor and a writer. I have a BFA in Performing Arts with a minor in Creative Writing from SCAD. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about 8 things I hate about YA, love triangles. I read a lot of categories and genres of books, but mostly I read fiction and I mostly read YA and new adult. I have been reading these genres since I was in middle school, so I've read quite a few books, and I have seen love triangles done in all kinds of different ways. The good ones, the bad ones, the okay ones, and the absolutely ridiculous and asinine ones. So I've seen quite a few, and I'm going to talk about what I hate about love triangles. Nonsensical and forced conflict. There's already going to be some drama that comes when you have a person in a relationship in semi-relationships with 2 other people. And you know what? That drama, fine. I'm not mad at that drama. That's totally fine. It's understandable. And sometimes people do stupid things when there's deep emotions involved. Okay, whatever. However, when you have drama for drama's sake and it's forced and it doesn't add anything to the story, it's just there to complicate things, and also it's all over the place and it just doesn't make any sense. That's when I'm don't like that. It doesn't add to the story. It doesn't help with character development. It's just there to be messy, and I don't like that. If I have to squint with one eye covered in the dark to see how these things are connected or make sense, then that's not fun, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna try to make sense out of it if it doesn't make sense. It gets just to be so ridiculous and annoying, and I just start to check out, and I'm great, here we are going on with this again. Third wheeling and the predictable outcome. I really hate this type of love triangle because it's so weak. From the beginning which person the protagonist is going to end up with. It's so clear, it's so obvious, and even though the writer will try to make it seem like there's stakes and tension with oh, they might end up with this person, but they might end up with the other person, but we never believe that protagonist is going to end up with dude number 2 or whatever. And in those kinds of stories, the love triangle aspect only exists to complicate the main pairings relationship. It's so just awful and weak and boring, and it's so boring. There's no tension, and so you're not invested in it, and you never believe that this person has a chance, so you don't care. The perfect pursuers. So in these love triangles, these are the ones where both options are the most perfect people you've ever met. They're not problematic in any way. I mean, they might be depending on your perception as a reader, but in the story, they're both perfect. They're both amazing. They're just way too good to be true, and they're both boring because of that, because they're essentially at their core, they're the same person, and the protagonist is just oh my gosh, how do I choose between this person and this person? And they're both perfect and amazing, and it's so boring. Why? The love interest should also be full developed 3D characters with flaws and interest and whatever, not just these cardboard mannequins of oh, I'm perfection and love me. It's so boring to read, to see. They do it in books, they do it in movies, they do it in TV. All the mediums do it. Which brings me into my next point, the non-believable aspects of love triangles that kind of exist in all different kinds of love triangles to some extent, is that they can just not be believable, like in any way whatsoever. Like, yes, love triangles happen in real life. However, in the depictions in film and TV and movies and books, film and movies are the same thing. The lead is always choosing either between two perfect people or a person who's like perfect and one who's clearly not. Like, okay, so why do I even care if one is obviously not gonna be that choice? It's either two goods or one good and bad, and there's like no room for gray, because good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things, and then there's all the like gray mess that's in between those two like ends of the spectrum. Everyone makes mistakes, and like I said, the characters' love interest should also be three-dimensional, flawed human being characters who do bad things and make mistakes, but they also do good things, and maybe they learn and maybe they don't learn. Also, another thing that's not believable about love triangles is that you will have characters get together, but like earlier in the story or in the series, you learned that they had some like core difference where they did not get along or agree on a topic. Like maybe it was like a difference in values or morals or something, but it's like one of those like major things that will make or break a relationship, and then they'll just like get together and never address that these issues that they have, and it's just like, nah, happily ever after now, blah blah blah. I freaking hate that so much. And it is like, because then I'm just like, we already saw that this didn't work then, and there was nothing that has been done between then and now except, oh, maybe you miss each other or whatever, for it to make sense that you would get together again or get together in the first place. Maybe they were friends before, but whatever. You need to address these differences, and they'll just get together and won't talk about them. And I absolutely hate when this happens at the end of a book. There will be an entire series where we'll see the ups and downs of the characters and their beliefs and their value systems and whatever, and we'll see the clashing of things that they don't agree on, but then it's like, well, we want to like have a happily ever after at the end of this book, so let's just wrap it up and put the characters together, but we're not going to address any of those things that we mentioned before that they don't get along with. Just, okay. I guess, no, they will not last. No. Or you have those quick fixes where like it's kind of like putting a band-aid on the problem, but you still haven't really addressed it. Just things that are not believable. And I get like, yes, you know, people might do things like that in real life. However, in the stories where it's like, oh, they're deciding like we're gonna be together forever or we're gonna start our relationship, like those are things that would come up naturally in any relationship where you either adapt or break apart because you can't compromise or figure something out to keep whatever, I don't know. Anyways, also there's like this thing of like no self-worth, and that can be like a bold statement. You know, there's levels to the self-worth and not having it and how the characters act. But if you're one of the love interests, why would you be okay with the lead going back and forth between you and the other person all willy-nilly? Like, I hate those circumstances, like in love triangles where it's like the lead is just in love with whoever just happens to be in the room at the moment, but as soon as that person's out of sight, or like it's just so wishy-washy and flip-floppy. I hate those. And then the love interests are just totally fine with that behavior. No, like that doesn't make, like a real person would not be okay with that. That doesn't make any sense. Like that's just not gonna be like super cool and copacetic. No. The overshadowing, the distracting, the overtaking, takeover love triangles. I really hate this type of love triangle because all the drama and the romance and all of that overtakes the main plot, and it becomes center stage, and that's what like the story becomes focused on. And it's one thing if you're reading a romance novel where that is the main plot of the story, but if I'm like reading some like post-apocalyptic novel where they're like trying to survive and like fight back, like band whatever, you know, why are there chapters and chapters and chapters of, you know, romance related and drama related shenanigans and angst and like what is going on? Like, that is not what the story is about. But you should not just have like whole sections where it's like main plot and all of a sudden we're just gonna talk about the romance for several chapters and then we're gonna go back to the main plot again. No! Overuse. I kind of feel like the love triangle is definitely overused. It's redundant. It's been used for centuries, and because of that, it's used everywhere. All the mediums: film, television, movies, books. I did it again. Film and movies are the same thing. You can have romantic drama come up in other types of ways. It doesn't always have to be a love triangle. You can have a whole bunch of drama with just two people. You could have more people, but like then that's just a lot of like people to focus on. But there could also be no romance in the story at all, and you can still have plenty of drama and other things that happen in the story that keep readers interested and captivated. Longevity. Okay, why does this love triangle need to go on for 3 or 4 or more books in the series? Can we just like, what? Because then at that point, if you're just trying to force this love triangle to continue, that's when it gets like a lot of these other things that I don't like start to happen, where you have forced conflict and nonsensical drama, just like all kinds of ridiculous things are happening, and it's just like you're allowed to have characters end up together before the series is over. You can put them together because that can also be interesting to see. Oh, how do they work in this new dynamic of being in a relationship? Is it what they thought it was? Like, what challenge do they have to overcome now that they're finally together? You can put them together. You have permission. I'm giving you permission. Me, who has done nothing, I'm just a reader. I'm giving you permission to put your characters together earlier in the series so that we can be done with it. You can still have romantic drama. It can just come in other forms that are not triangle related. Yeah, so like you can have the characters get together, you can still have that love triangle, and you can have actual drama that makes sense instead of just creating drama out of nowhere just to cause it. Just why? And yes, you might say, well, you know, Nia, books are supposed to be like an escape. They're supposed to be a fantasy, you know? Well, they can still be those things, but they can also make sense, okay? And they can have a semblance of believability. Well, those were 8 things I hate about love triangles and YA. If you're interested in things like this, you can check out more of my videos. You can also hop over to my blog where I post book and movie reviews, companion articles to some of my videos, short stories, personal essays, bullet journal entries, whatever else I feel like putting on there. You can also follow me and or my cats on Instagram. All the links are in the description below. Thank you for watching. Bye.